Hello, everybody. I'm here with my friend James. He has another name that we're going to talk about later, but he's an awesome English teacher on TikTok and on social media. And we're going to learn a little bit more about his story, about who he is, and everything else. Welcome to this channel, my friend. How are you today?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
The pleasure is all mine. Why did you decide to be an English teacher?
Okay. The moment I decided, I guess there's no specific moment, but I
Mm-hmm.
started teaching 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I I arrived to Mexico to learn Spanish,
Mm-hmm.
and so I purchased a 4-month course here in Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
an intensive course,
Mm-hmm.
6 hours of Spanish a day, and I was living with a host family.
Mm-hmm.
And I came with open plans, I didn't have anything real concrete after the fact, after the 4 months. I just
Mm-hmm.
thought I would just play it by ear. And so once I finished the course, I felt like I wanted to stay longer. And of course, I was using my savings
Mm-hmm.
and and
Mm-hmm.
a bank loan actually to study here and live here.
Yeah.
But I realized that I was running out of funds. So I said, well, I'll stay a couple more months and then I have to decide whether I'm gonna get a job
Mm-hmm.
here or go back to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
I need money.
Mm-hmm.
So I stayed here a couple of months and I actually had to move out of the host family and find my own apartment.
Yes.
So that was interesting. I was here by myself in Mexico, my first my first time living alone, because
Mm-hmm.
before that I was living with roommates or living with my family back in Canada.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it was my first time living alone and it was like, wow, just so much at once, right? So I I really learned a lot and really grew as a person
Mm-hmm.
coming to Mexico. But anyways, to kind of make a long story short, I decided to stay stay in Mexico. I didn't know if I was going to stay for 8 years, which I completed this year in January, actually. Completed
Mm-hmm.
8
Mm-hmm.
years here. But I felt like I wanted to stay.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started looking for work as an English teacher. First I got certified because I didn't have any certification.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this was 8 years ago, and I found a TKT, which
Mm-hmm.
is Teachers Knowledge Training from Cambridge. I
Mm-hmm.
found a course, and they were offering it in one of the universities here in Mexico.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I signed up for that. I got certified as a teacher. Then I
Mm-hmm.
just started looking for work around the city, um, going
Mm-hmm.
around with my application, my resume,
Mm-hmm.
and I finally found my first job, and it was very, very, very part-time.
Mm-hmm.
But from there, I went on to something a little bit more full-time, but the money
Mm-hmm.
was very, 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 very low,
Mm-hmm.
very, extremely low. And I thought, no, I don't even have enough to pay for the bus. Like I didn't have a car back then. I was walking around, I was
Wow.
taking the bus,
Mm-hmm.
taxis, can be
Mm-hmm.
expensive. And
Mm-hmm.
so, I kept finding better and better jobs as time
Mm-hmm.
went by. And then
Mm-hmm.
finally I said, you know what? I need to work online. That's my dream. I want to be
Mm-hmm.
able to reach more people, not just the people in my city,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to, reach globally and find students from different countries.
Mm-hmm.
So I found a platform that allowed me to work online in
Mm-hmm.
2017. And so I've been working online now for 5 years, and I've worked for
Wow.
different platforms and schools online. But
Mm-hmm.
finally, I am now this year. I just began giving my own private
Mm-hmm.
classes.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I love that, being my own boss and running the thing myself. So um, yeah, that's a long story short to where I got to today. So I
Awesome.
decided 8 years ago. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
around 8 years ago.
Awesome.
So I guess more specifically to why I chose choosing is because I love sharing my knowledge, whatever it may be. I used to dance when I was in high school. I used to break dance, and I
Wow.
enjoyed sharing that knowledge with other kids, and helping them to be able to do what I did. And I just found a passion for that. And all my life, I've had a passion for creating.
Yeah.
I've done like every single type of art. I've been singing my whole life, but I also drew, I also painted, I did sculptures. So I've always had a big passion for art and really creating. So I was able to merge my passion for creating and art and sharing or teaching together.
Yes.
And I found my purpose in teaching and creating content. That's what I love to do.
I am curious. You're a singer. How did it
Yeah.
begin?
Well, I was in my first choir when I was in elementary school. I believe it was grade 1. I was in a choir, and we got an opportunity. In fact, my mom and I still have a newspaper clipping. Now it's a digital photo of that clipping of an opportunity that we had as a choir. We were invited to. They were opening a church in our community. I wasn't part of that church, but I was part of the choir, and they invited us as a school choir to go and perform. And I just remember the thrill of being on stage in front of everyone and the feedback that we received. The applauding and everything was just like, I don't know, just like energized me. And that's when I guess I felt and received this passion or drive to make that happen even more. I wanted to share my talents more, and that started to open me up because I was a very, very shy kid growing up. But that was an incredible experience that really marked my life. And so I've been singing since a very, very early age.
What is your artist name?
I started when I was in my 20s. I started with the artist name JJ Fresh because I was really, really into hip hop. And like I said, break dancing and things like that. So my artistic name was JJ Fresh, which is still, you can still find it on Spotify. It has a particular spelling. And I went from there to my actual name, which is James Hampshire. I thought, you know what, I'm just going to use my actual name because I felt like JJ Fresh, I kind of grew out of that. It didn't represent me anymore. And I said, I'll just make it easy, go by James Hampshire. I was using that name for a few years, but then when like moving to Mexico, I realized no one could pronounce my last name. Like one thing is listening to it. Hampshire is not that difficult when you listen to the, it's just 2 syllables, Hampshire.
Yeah.
But when you see it in writing, it's like, first of all, how do I spell it? And how do I pronounce that name? What?
Yeah.
James, James. What is this? So I was like, you know what? I want my music to, especially as I started producing in Spanish as well, once I learned the language, I thought, you know what? I want to reach a more global audience. I don't want to be limited. So I decided, I need to change my name to something that anyone can pronounce. That was my goal. I want anyone to be able to pronounce my name. And I thought, okay, I don't want any more than 3 syllables. And it's got to be very simple. So that's when I had an idea. I thought, you know what? I've lived in Canada. I was born in Canada, raised in Canada. But during my childhood, I lived in a country called Vanuatu, which is between Australia and Fiji. My parents went to work there, and I was 3 years old when they moved us down there. My sister and younger brother. And I lived there 8 years of my childhood. So that was a huge influence on me as well. Then we came back to Canada, and then later on I moved to Mexico. So I thought, Canada, Mexico, Vanuatu, these are three countries that have really, really made a huge impact on my life and are really, really special to me. So I thought, I want to put them in my name somehow, but how? Then I had the idea of taking the endings, the final syllables of each name, and putting them together as my artist name. But my first combination of those was Dudako for Vanuatu, and Da for Canada, and then Ko for Mexico. Dudako. I thought, it's kind of got a ring to it. It's okay. Dudako. It's not bad, but I wasn't completely convinced. Then I showed my girlfriend and I said, "What do you think about Dudako?" And she's like, "It's okay. What if you take the two and you flip them? These two here, Dako two." And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" It was like she found the perfect combination. So I really have her to thank for that. So Dako two is what it turned out to be. And people say, "Is that a Spanish word?" And I said, "No, it didn't even exist before I invented it alongside my girlfriend." So it's like, it's very special to me because it's got these three countries within it.
That's awesome. What kind of music you like to do now?
Okay, so I really love to, well, I love to listen to urban music. So that's reggae, hip hop, reggaeton. So the first time I heard reggaeton was in 2005, Gasolina by Daddy Yankee. And it just like, I don't know what it was. It just really hit me to the core, that style of music. I thought, I've never heard this rhythm in my life. What is this, And it inspired me to I was really into hip hop before that. And then I started getting into the reggaeton as well. And yeah, like I said, I love the urban genre. So that's reggae, reggaeton, hip hop, trap. Yeah. But I also have a huge passion for ballads and pop music.
Me too.
Like I was really into the Backstreet Boys. I'm not afraid to admit it, like I really love that like emotional romantic ballad type music. And I love pop music too. So when I produce, because I get bored of producing one genre only, right? So I love to explore different genres and even like mix and fuse them. So I would say that I make pop music, but it's very heavy influenced, from reggae, reggaeton, hip hop, different genres.
Making music or teaching, which one do you prefer?
Oh my gosh, I would say it's like when people ask me, what's better, Mexico or Canada? And I say, neither. They're just different.
Yeah.
They're both awesome. They're just different. And that's the thing. Like, I couldn't say music for me is better than teaching because I have found equal passion for both. And I even mix them together. Like through my teaching, I use a lot of music. In fact, I released a full album about 6 years ago where I made songs strictly teaching the English grammar. I have a song called The Verb to Be song by James Hampshire. It's under my James Hampshire account, which still exists on Spotify. So I have my James Hampshire, then I have my Dakota, and they're on Spotify.
I gotta get it right now. Yeah,
like every grammar point, at least beginner grammar point, all the way up to future, like future will and going to, is taught through songs, through music that I created. So I found a way to fuse both of my passions of music and teaching together. And now on TikTok, I like to use both. So
do you lay down some tracks too?
Yeah, I actually do everything. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm quite passionate about, it kind of came, I learned a lot of things because it came from the fact that I didn't have the funds to go and pay for people to do these different services for me. So I learned everything from the writing, from the to the recording, to the mixing, the mastering, Even graphic design, like I do my own graphic design. I even delved a little bit into video production, lyric videos and things like that, promotional videos. So I really learned like a plethora of talents and services out of necessity, and also a passion for just learning and creating, right? And having control of what I'm doing, because sometimes when you delegate other people, work to other people, you have to wait for their timeline, and they're not as passionate about it, or they might not have the vision that you do. Can be frustrating. But as I got older, I found value too in like having people do certain things so that it could free up time for what my real specialty is, so yeah, it's important sometimes to have other people do certain things. But yes,
I love writing too.
necessity.
I think music is food for the soul.
And you reminded me too of something, and that's that everyone needs an outlet.
Yeah.
Life is difficult. We have so much angst and frustration, and even good feelings like love and caring within us, and we need to get that out somehow. That's where art comes in to save the day, because it's really allows you to get that out of you and express yourself, and in doing so help other people and inspire others. We should respect and look at opinions like like fingerprints. Everyone has a different fingerprint. It's like you can't have the same fingerprint. Just accept it. Like no one argues over fingerprints. Like, hey, why is your fingerprint different than mine? People just accept it for the way it is.
I agree with you entirely. Actually, it's my last question for you now. What's a memorable moment for you as an English teacher so far?
As an English teacher, teaching here in Mexico in person, that's one thing I miss with teaching online, is that I'm not there in person physically, being able to bounce off of the energy of my students. And sometimes they'll come in like sleepy or tired, and I activate them. I really enjoy that. Like, I don't know, it's just something about teaching in person it's just a different energy, and I really miss that from teaching online. So yeah, I have many fond and special memories of teaching in person.
I think we can go to the rapid round game now that I told you before that everybody loves. So my first question for you is, music is
language, a language like English. Yes.
teaching is
influence and creativity. That's a difficult one. Friends are important. Yeah.
family is
even more important. Family is the base of everything, I guess.
The most beautiful word in Spanish for me is
amor, because all you need is love.
the most beautiful word in English for me is
the first word that comes to mind, and I don't know why, is soul.
If I had to describe myself in one word, that word would be?
First word that comes to mind is happy.
And to finish, on my end, the future holds
brightness. Actually, I have a shirt that says the future is bright, and I really love shirts that have text on them, especially like inspirational quotes.
Awesome.
But yes,
Me
the
too.
future is bright.
Me too. And now I am on the hot seat, and it's your turn to ask me whatever you want.
Okay. Happiness is
when you are with those who you really love around you.
All right. Love is
food for the soul.
All right. Madonna is
the responsible for my being a teacher today.
Wow. Life is
challenging.
Challenging. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
life after death is?
A mystery.
A mystery. There you go. That was a good answer.
Well, to finish, I always have a sentence, a quote, a takeaway, and for you is a takeaway. When I found your profile on TikTok, I thought up to myself, I'm going to invite him for an interview because I think he's great. I thought it would be awesome, but it was beyond awesome to me. I would
Wow.
talk to you for 2, 3, 4 hours and I wouldn't see the time go because you have the soul of an artist and
Wow, I really
the
appreciate that.
words of a teacher. You
That's
know,
very kind.
YouTube has brought me a lot of good friends, and I truly believe that you are one of them now.
I was very, very happy to have this time and opportunity,
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
really, really excited and kind of surprised when you contacted me on
Mm-hmm.
TikTok. Um, but
Mm-hmm.
in a good way.
Yeah.
And you mentioned about YouTube bringing you these opportunities and allowing you to
Yeah.
meet
Yeah.
these different people. And I really think that in that way, the internet has been an extreme blessing
Yeah.
because it's been able
Mm-hmm.
to connect us
Mm-hmm.
to even more people.
Mm-hmm.
And just look at TikTok, like,
Mm-hmm.
I have whatever number of followers, which is not the important thing. The important thing is the fact that I'm able to reach
Yeah.
like so many people.
Mm-hmm.
I have access to so many people that I wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
without the internet. There's no way. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just amazing how much you can do and how many people you can reach and influence
Mm-hmm.
with the technology
Yeah.
of the internet and now apps like YouTube and
Mm-hmm.
TikTok. So I'm very grateful for that, and I'm very grateful for people like you
Yeah.
who are equally
Mm-hmm.
motivated and inspired
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
share and help make a change in other
Mm-hmm.
people's lives.
To finish, I would like to say that while you were talking, everybody can see that you are an artist, a true artist. And while you were speaking and telling me things, the only sentence that came to my mind to refer to you is, he's a dream chaser.
Wow, I love that. I hadn't thought of that, but that's a great title for me. Yes, and I'm very
Uh,
very persistent.
I think if we stop dreaming, we start dying.
Yes.
Mostly in my case, as a disabled person,
If I had listened to the naysayers, I would be in my bedroom, lying in my bed, doing nothing.
and I had to prove them wrong.
Right. I feel like your dreams have
Mm.
literally or metaphorically
Mm-hmm.
lifted you off of your chair. Like they
Yeah.
gave you wings. You might not have the legs, but your dreams gave you the wings.
Yeah, and my principal told me, the principal that I had before, she said, you can't walk properly, but your heart flies.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's incredible. Like how that
So
gave me
for
chills,
me, yeah, for me, that was really inspiring. And I want to finish the interview now by saying that John Lennon was perfect when he said, when he composed Imagine, you may say that I'm a dreamer,
Oh
but
my
I'm not
gosh.
the only one.
That song is incredible. And that's crazy that you said John Lennon because earlier I
Hmm.
mentioned love,
Hmm.
and the tune
All
"For
we
Me
need
Is
is
Love"
love. Yeah.
came into
Hmm.
my mind, and I
Hmm.
couldn't remember if it was John Lennon or
Hmm.
the Beatles that wrote that song.
Yeah.
I don't remember which one actually.
Well, I have to say that unfortunately, this interview has come to an end. And I hope you
Alrighty.
guys enjoyed it as much as I did. This guy is I don't even know how to describe it. He's amazing or beyond amazing. And this was my friend James Hampshire, or Dakota,
Right. Hey, great. Thank you so
the
much,
singer.
Rod.
It was a pleasure to have you for this
Yes.
interview. Thank you for your time.
I appreciate you and your time. Thank you so much.
Me too. Guys, I hope you liked it. See you next week. Thank you.
Bye.
See ya. Later.
Hello, it's Rod's friend here, Gino from Real Everyday English. Sorry for interrupting your video. I just want to make a quick recommendation that you subscribe to Rodrigo's channel. He's an amazing guy. He's so humble. He's so dedicated. And he creates absolutely fantastic content. See you people soon. Bye-bye. God bless.